Well, Roosters fans, fresh off a massive win Saturday night, we have on Roosters Radio this week the man that started the run home. He is a former St George Illawarra Dragon. He's journeyed across the Dart to come back and play 5'8" for the Roosters, and isn't he in good form? Welcome to Roosters Radio, Drew Hutchison. Great to have you in here, mate.
Thanks for having us, guys, and it's looking forward to being on here.
Well, Drew, first question for you straight off the bat. It would be very remiss as a Roosters family not to pay homage to one of our great leaders, someone that's probably mentored you a bit, club captain who retired this week. He's a big fan of Roosters Radio, and we just wanted to ask you your thoughts on Jake Friend as a human being, a captain, and a teammate.
Yeah, well, first of all, as a player, looking sort of whenever I thought about the Roosters, you just think Jake Friend. I know growing up, I used to go to the Anzac Day game a lot, and I remember he's played some good games there. And as a player, he's just been tremendous for this club, and I can call it an honour to sort of play alongside him. And as a man, he's one of the greats. He's just such a tremendous bloke, and the club's going to miss him on the field, but I think what he's going to bring off the field in terms of support and it's very valuable to have a bloke like that around.
What will you miss most, like on the football field or off the field? I know you've got a great relationship with Jake, but what is something you personally will miss?
I bet you he's not going to miss being sore every Monday morning, but no, I'm probably just going to miss the way. I mean, his leadership, it's unbelievable. Like whenever he speaks, every single person just listens and goes, yeah, that's exactly what we need to be done. That's what needs to be done. And I think just the way that he leads the team it's second to none.
Drew, spoke to Orbo at the game on Saturday night, and we were talking about the legacy that Friendy leaves behind, but Orbo mentioned there's a bit of a changing of the guard within the leadership group. You know, with Luke's out with injury, obviously Jake's retired, Boyd not in the side at the moment. Do you sense that, do you sense that as well? There's a bit of a change within the leadership group?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's, in terms of them sort of senior figures not there, there's other blokes that have been putting their hand up each week, and or Teddy, the captain, I suppose his performances speak for itself. Like if you need some inspiration, you just look the way he plays. But other blokes, I think Isaac and Jared's always going to stand up, but Radley, he's been putting his hand up to be in the leadership group for a few years, but it's good to see him in there. And I think the way that he sort of helped everyone out, and he's pretty influential person to have there.
On Jared, he came on the field on Saturday night and he had fire in his eyes. Do you feel that when you're out there, when he gets on the field from the bench?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the way that he just says, "Yeah, give me the ball." He probably says a few other things that I won't say, but yeah, he takes the boys on, he takes them forward, and you can certainly feel him out there with them without the ball. So, no, I love playing with him. I don't really want to play against him.
No, I wouldn't either.
No.
But I want to go back a step because your journey to the Roosters is an interesting one. You're a star in the under-20s, played junior Kangaroos, New South Wales, played first grade at the Dragons, then had a knee injury, went over and played a season of rugby league in the UK, and then you end up at the Roosters pretty much sight unseen, turned up to train and won a contract. Can you tell us or step us through that journey? Because it's a fascinating one.
Yeah, I mean the injury sort of at St George, I was coming off contract that year and injured my knee, and to be honest, I was in a bit of a shit place. Like you think, the world's ending, like footy's, what am I going to do? And I got English heritage. My dad, English, he sort of moved here when I was born and all that sort of stuff. So I had an English passport, and I thought I'd go over there. And I was 22. I had to grow up pretty quick. I mean, I always lived at home with my mum and dad, so moving overseas by myself was, it was different. I mean, you learn a lot about yourself and about the way the world works. So unfortunately, things didn't work out in England, and I decided to come home, and that was a bit of a nerve-wracking time. I didn't have a contract anywhere, and not many clubs were too keen to sign me. So when the opportunity to come to the Roosters just on a training trial, I was licking my lips, and to come into such an environment where you have to perform, it was I really enjoyed that, and I feel like I'm sort of getting the best out of it now.
But it says something about your character to actually back yourself.
Yeah, well, I think it was probably the most proudest I've been in my rugby league career to sort of get here, because it was probably the first time I've had to really earn it. I mean, coming through you got a reputation as so, but no, when I came here, no one really cared, and you just had to had to earn your stripes, I suppose, and that was something that I'm quite proud of.
Drew, along the way, you do your knee, and you were, as you said, you had a reputation. You made all those junior rep sides, played first grade at a very early age. What was going through your head in England when you thought, this hasn't worked out, I've done my knee, is my football career over? Like, how do you rise above that adversity? What goes through your mind, and what did you do to get there?
There's plenty that goes through your head. I mean, I was fully prepared that it was over, and you just sort of, I reckon ever since then I've sort of played footy for the right reasons, like the enjoyment of having your best mates around you every day, and that's something that I'll never take for granted again. Like, we do have the best job in the world. We get to play the sport that we love, and I reckon from that day on, I just sort of really started to just enjoy what you do.
Was it the reset you needed, in the sense, it sounds to me, you're telling us that you took it for granted a bit. You had everyone knows you got ability, everyone knows you can play. What's your advice to young blokes? Listen, there's plenty of young blokes that want to make the grade, want to play NRL. It's the dream of everyone in this room, including Belinda. And, and true story. She
Love
would
that.
She would have played if the ladies' game was back ages ago, mate. You should see her go. And a 5'8".
Oh, you?
Yes.
Yeah, my spot next Saturday.
She's not ready for the Monday.
No, right, okay.
But what's your advice to a young guy who's out there? There's so many young footballers like yourself who've got some talent, number twos at different clubs, or just can't quite make the run on side. Then they get an injury and they think you're giving it away. What's the one piece of advice you can give them? Because you are a classic example of someone who's stuck at it. Saturday night, you got the ball rolling for us, and it's great. But it's what happens before then that people are so interested in how it works.
I think a big thing is you got to be patient. I don't think there's no NRL club in the world that's going to sign a young bloke and start him every week. I mean, you got to be patient and you got to be ready. I mean, there's no better sign than Sam Walker. I mean, last year he trained almost every day because there was no footy for him to play, and he was patient. And now, I mean, he's reaping the rewards now. He's unreal. His body's ready, and it's really good to see. And I suppose that patience is, just you got to develop as a player. I mean, when you do get your chance to play first grade, you want to stay there for your whole career. You don't want to just play 1 or 2 games. You want to stay there.
Drew, on Sam Walker, there's plenty of spotlight on him at the moment. Obviously, a fantastic game on the weekend. Yeah. What's it like halving with him, your partnership? What's it like playing alongside of him?
I mean, you just see some of the stuff he does. He's exciting player. And you know what? He's a champion bloke as well, and that's probably the best thing for me. He's such a young kid, but he's so down to earth, and I don't think he thanks his teammates more than anything. He's such a good fella, and I reckon it's just such a great story for him, and I'm glad to see him killing it. He really is.
Drew, can you talk from a fan's perspective? Silky and I had to leave for a function Saturday night. It's happened to me once before when we made the GF against St George. So you're standing there and Sam Walker throws. First of all, he scores that try, then he throws a pass out to Tubes, then one out to BMOS. What goes through your mind? You see that sort of skill level, like as a fellow player, do you marvel like we do? As fans, we're the mere mortals, right? So we go, wow. What do you think?
No, because we see it all the time at training. I mean, he's been doing it ever since he's turned up from day one. He's been making fools of everyone at training, and he's just got such incredible skills that that's unreal that he can showcase it on the big stage like that. And he can sort of keep improving as well. I don't think we've seen the best of him. No.
Now, we've got to give you some credit as well, Drew. That's try you scored on Saturday night. I think you kicked us off for that comeback. No. How'd you feel?
I don't know. I don't score too many tries, as you probably tell by my celebrations. I don't have one. So, no, it's...
Hey, we'll get to your celebrations. That's a topic.
Okay, all right. Well...
I mean try celebrations. We spoke to the coach.
Right, okay. We'll be careful. But, it's just... insane. We were down, but I don't think anyone on the field sort of thought, this game's over. And the way that we just sort of stuck at it, I think it was... I mean, we don't get the opportunity to score those tries if our forwards and our players aren't doing the right thing. And everyone just the belief everyone had, and I think it's just a true testament to the club and how much belief we have in each other.
Mate, you started the season at 9, or you're filling in at number 9. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about the hooking role at the moment, but you've found your feet the last couple of weeks in the 6. How do you feel that you've progressed thus far this season?
Yeah, I would hook up the hooker. That was a bit of a shock to the body and of the lungs a lot. But yeah, I always speak about wherever Robbo would pick me to play in this team, I'd love to do. So I reckon there's probably 30 blokes that do the same thing. So whoever gets picked, they're going to do the job, and they got the support from everyone.
With that, coming with that, the players that you've been mentored by, Benji Marshall at the Dragons, Luke Keary, of course, Cooper Cronk, you've had some great mentors. Have any of them, taught you anything about your own game or stuff that you use when you're playing on the weekends?
Absolutely. I mean, just they're the utmost professionals, and them 3 blokes you just named, and the way they approach their footy is probably how most thing I've learned. I mean, if there's one thing I've learned, you can't copy the way someone plays. You got to be yourself. But the way that they prepare for their game, and I think it's just their mentality. It does teach you a lot, and they're certainly at a different class than me, but they're just tremendous people as well to learn from.
Now, Drew, we were speaking to Lindsay Collins last week.
Yep.
This is a little bit of a question for the fans, just to get to know you a little bit more. But what do you do in your off time when you're not playing footy or training? What do you like to do?
Well, I study at university. I don't really like doing it, but that's I do. That does take up some time. I do enjoy a nice swim and a coffee. That sounds
good.
One of my things.
Yeah, and Drew, what about nighttime?
Nighttime. Who's listening? That's depends.
The coach mentioned you're a bit of a man's man and an older style footballer. He said, mate, he's a character. He likes a beer.
Okay. Well, I think unfortunately that's what got me a bit unstuck when I was in England. I was living by myself, but I suppose that's the beauty of footy. You sit out there and you put the body on the line with your best mates, and then afterwards you can sit back and go, geez, how good was that, and enjoy a nice beer and. Whatever else comes from that.
Are you a VB man?
I'm whoever's buying me one, man. Actually,
Doesn't matter. Whatever's
doesn't
going.
matter.
No. Our studio producer here, Studio Pat, was doing a bit of stalking of your social profiles, and I've got to say, most of your Instagram photos, there's a schooner or a spirit in your hand, mate. So we could tell you do like a drink.
I need to put that on private, I think.
Now, keeping it clean and back for the fans, mate, what are you studying? It's quite interesting. Last week we asked Lindsay, said he was going to uni, and then we didn't ask what he was studying. We went, oh, wow. Yeah. What is it you are studying, and are you enjoying it?
I study primary teaching at uni. I've been doing it for, probably 4 years now, part-time. I do enjoy it. It's good. It's good. It's a different way to sort of fill up your time, and I haven't done a great deal on the job, like practical training yet, but just the study side of it puts you in a good headspace to come to train and enjoy it.
Talking about kids, Drew, we're going to see any little Drews in the future. We and we actually just had that butcher in here,
yes,
and he got married in the off season, and definitely one that's batting above average there with his
way above average.
Way above average. Now there's a little rumour going around here as well, also that you may be batting above your average as well. Is there any truth to that?
There is a truth to that. Yeah. The fact that she talks to me is unbelievable. She's beautiful, and Kelsey, if she's listening,
little shout out. Well, give us a little shout out.
Come on,
give her a shout out.
No, Kelsey, she's She does. She enjoys the Roosters. She's loved. What is it? She doesn't know much about footy, and I think she's enjoyed sort of coming and getting to learn a bit about the game.
Yeah, good on you. It's
awesome.
Great to see. It's good to see off the field the support players need.
Yeah.
Off the field, what would you have done if you weren't a rugby league first grade footballer?
Well, my first job. I was just talking to someone about this before. My first job, I was a courier, and I wasn't real good at it, so I wouldn't be doing that. I crashed the van a few times, so I don't think that would be my job. But what would I be doing? I'd like to say teacher, but I only just sort of got into that. Yeah, I can definitely see myself being a teacher. That's something that I'm really passionate about, and you can sort of liken it to coaching in football in a way. Like you got to sort of get the trust from people, and you got to teach them,
pass on some knowledge.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, we had we had the pleasure of getting our whole squad in over this year. Joey Manu was a great interview. You've been terrific. Last week with Lindsay, and one of the questions we always ask is, and for the fans, who's one of the biggest influences in your life? It can be coach, parents, a sporting star. Who influences Drew Hutchison, and why?
You get asked this question a lot, and My family, they've been unbelievable. Like both my parents are completely different. Dad's he's a straight up and down bloke, and Mum, no matter how shit you play, she's going to tell you to play good. So
I love that about mums.
Yeah, the love and support that they have. Yeah. I've got an older brother as well, and ever since I was young, all I wanted to do was just hang out with them and like impress all the older boys. That was something that I sort of had as I was young. And Albion Park, my junior footy club, we grew up in a team that were pretty successful, and all the sort of the coaches that I had. Shane Sainsbury was probably one of the biggest influences on my career. Just the way that he was no nonsense. Like, yeah, you train hard, but you got to earn everything in the game. And yeah, so I'd say just my family and all the people at Albion Park Footy Club that had a lot to do with my career.
Yeah, and again, I'll ask you, like, Drew, you're a great story, and for kids down in Albion Park, Wollongong, for young Roosters fans up on the Central Coast, even in Bondi here, what's the one piece of advice you'd give them on their journey to become an NRL footballer and fulfill their dreams? It would have been yours one day, and how do they get there?
Probably a big thing for me was just don't forget who you are and where you come from. I mean, I don't think I could ever forgive myself if I brushed all my mates from down that way. Like, and I don't think they would ever forgive me. Every time you get ahead of yourself, they're the quick to pull you in the line. So, I mean, yeah, you get given an opportunity and things happen quick, but yeah, just don't forget who you are and where you came from.
Beautiful.
Well, on that note, I'm sure the mob down at the Albion Park Hotel will be looking for you next time. I've had a couple of beers there myself, but Drew, mate, really appreciate your time. It's been a great interview. Thanks for joining us on Roosters Radio.
No, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Well done,
Drew.
mate.
Thank you.